Good morning, welcome to Trade Plate Travels. My name's Chris. I am a trade plate driver for TMC Motors based in Hampshire, and today I thought I'd answer some questions that quite a few people have been asking me about what it's like to be a trade plate driver, and we'll talk a little bit about pay and how you can expect to be paid and roughly how much you can expect to earn, that kind of thing. And in the meantime, I'm on a collection journey as well today to Weston-super-Mare to pick up a Ford Transit Connect van. So I thought I'd take you along with me for the journey. So here's the first vehicle that we're dealing with today. I'm actually just driving this about half an hour up the road to a Ford garage to get some work done under recall. So it's just a nice, simple, quick journey to begin with. And then we'll be off to Weston-super-Mare from there. Done 58,000 miles, this one. Ford Ranger Wildtrak with the 3.2 litre engine. Right, let's go. Right, so first job of the day done. That was very quick really, just dropped the pickup truck off at Group 1 Ford in Farnborough. I'm now heading off to Farnborough North Station, where I'll catch a train to Weston-super-Mare, which is where I'll be collecting the second vehicle. But on the way there, I'll just quickly talk you through what my job is and what I do. So I work for TMC in Hampshire. I'm a trade plate driver, which means that I deliver and collect vehicles all across the UK. So what will happen is one of the guys will give me a call and say, hey Chris, we've got a van that needs collecting from Weston-super-Mare or Liverpool or Manchester or wherever on Tuesday, are you available? And if I am, I will then buy my train tickets, I'll contact the customer, arrange a time to meet them, and I'll head off. When I get there, I'll check over the vehicle and take it for a quick test drive, usually about 5 to 10 minutes test drive. Check under the bonnet, all around the bodywork, all the usual things, make sure it's okay, what we're expecting. We transfer the money online, it usually takes a few minutes, and once that's done, I'll either drive it back to TMC if I have time, or more often than not, especially on a long journey, I will drive it back to my house and park it in my garage overnight. The following morning, drive it straight back into TMC and head off on my next collection. We also do deliveries, so we'll have a vehicle that's been sold to someone. It will be my job then to drive it up to them and then taking the train back home. I buy my tickets myself, I pay for the petrol myself, it all gets refunded, all the expenses are repaid. I'll go into that a little bit again later on, a little bit more detail on that. I am effectively self-employed, so I'm not on the payroll at TMC, but because I exclusively work for them, I do kind of feel like I'm part of the team really. I just need to make sure that I invoice them once a week. Well, I've got to a very wet Farnborough North Station. I'm a little bit bedraggled, as you can see. I suppose it's all part of the job. You will get a bit wet sometimes walking from place to place. But anyway, we've talked a little bit about what I do. But what kind of work might you do if you become a trade plate driver? Well, you may be like me, you may be able to find a local dealership who is after someone local who they can trust to basically drive vehicles safely from place to place across the country at short notice. That could be you. If you look online, you'll see a lot of jobs advertised for places like, for example, BCA or Mannheim, the auction houses. They will have teams of trade plate drivers who will be basically transporting thousands of vehicles really in total all across the country every day. There are also various agencies like trade plating agencies who work for dealerships. I know that TMC, when I'm not available, when the other drivers I work with aren't available, they will use agency drivers to transport the vehicle. So if you work for somewhere like that, you'll likely have a contact at your main office that will help you organise your day. So they will give you maybe 2, 3 or even more vehicles per day to move from place to place. You'll likely start with the last vehicle that you had the day before, still parked at your house. You'll then drive that somewhere. You might take a train or a bus to another collection, collect that vehicle, take that to where it needs to go, and so on through the day. So it can be a very busy day. There can be a lot of public transport involved. It can also be a very long day, obviously, because if you miss train connections or your train is delayed, and trust me, that will happen, a relatively simple day, unfortunately, can turn into a very long day indeed.
This is Farnborough.
Well, hello and welcome to Reading Station. I've got about a half an hour wait now for my train that will take me to Bristol Temple Meads, the next stop. So I thought we'd begin talking about pay, specifically how you're paid. I think I'll start with. Now, I'm quite lucky because I get an hourly rate, and I get paid from the moment I leave TMC or the moment I leave on the train to the moment I get home. I have an hourly rate, so no matter how long I'm out for, and it can be a very long day, I am earning that whole time I'm out. Now, if you're working for an agency, for example, then you may be paid by the mile. So they will pay you, I think, a relatively modest amount for short journeys. I think anything up to about 70, maybe 80 miles or something like that. You'll get a certain amount of money for your journey overall, and then after that you'll get paid per mile you drive. Now, I suppose the advantages of that are that it makes it slightly easier to work out in advance how much you're going to earn for one particular journey. Other than that, I don't think it's really as good as getting paid by the hour, because what you've got to remember is you could be stuck for hours in traffic, you could be stuck on a train, you could be waiting for a connection. All that time you're not earning anything. And I would say that if you're looking for this kind of work, if you can find an hourly rate job, then you're in luck, as opposed to being paid by the mile. I buy all my train tickets and put all the fuel in the vehicles along the way out of my own pocket, effectively, but it does all get refunded. So when I do invoice TMC, I get it back. But of course that does mean that I need to be careful to make sure that in the meantime I have enough in my account at any one time to pay for all these things. And yes, I could be spending hundreds of pounds every week on train travel, on fuel, diesel, petrol, whatever. Being self-employed, of course, all the tax and everything not included in my pay. So I do my self-assessment once a year myself. It does take a bit of organisation, but you get used to it. Well, welcome to Bristol Temple Meads. It's just gone 1:10 in the afternoon now. One more train to go that will take me to Well Station in Weston-super-Mare. And from there I shall head on to collect the van that we're picking up today, and hopefully we'll have a chance to go and see the seafront at Weston. Well, I've got to Whirl. It's almost 2 o'clock now, and we'll catch up hopefully shortly on the seafront. Well, hello again. It's just gone 4:45, and here we are. We are at Weston-super-Mare seafront, a place I've never been before, which leads me on to the advantages of the job. Let's have a quick summary of the pros and cons of tray plate driving. As you can probably tell, I love tray plate driving. It's the opportunity to see somewhere completely new that I probably wouldn't have been were it not for doing the driving. The usual advantages of being self-employed as well. Of course, you have the freedom to work when you want, or more importantly perhaps to take days off when you want. Of course, The flip side to that is that you're not going to get paid when you do have a day off, because no holiday pay, no sick pay. I just love being out and about. I love seeing new places. It really does get you all over the place, trade plate driving. The road, the whole of the UK is my office really. Disadvantages? The first, I would say, I will come back to this in a bit more detail shortly. The pay, obviously, you're not going to earn a fortune from trade plate driving. It is a relatively low paid job. The hours can also be very, very long. I have got back at, I think the latest I've managed so far is 1:30 in the morning, and bear in mind that was a day when I was heading off to work at about 7 o'clock that morning. But one delayed train, one missed connection, one bad traffic jam, everything can fall down like a house of cards, and what starts off as a very nice easy day can quickly turn into a very, very long day indeed. So yes, let's talk a little bit about pay, how much you can expect to earn from trade plate driving. Well, like I said, it's not going to be a lot of money. I'll be honest with you. This is not something you do to make a fortune. I've seen jobs advertised on sites like Indeed and that kind of thing, where they're saying that you can earn anything up to about £500, £600, £700 a week. Now, the first thing you have to bear in mind with any kind of pay with this job is that the work is not guaranteed. The amount of work you have every week is not guaranteed. So when they say that you can earn £500 a week, say, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be earning £500 every week. I mean, by all means, yes, sometimes you could earn that much. You could earn more than that on some weeks if you have a very long week. I mean, obviously, the more money you earn, the more hours you're going to have to work, or the more miles you're going to have to drive. It could be a very, very long week. But just because you've earned £500 one week doesn't mean you're going to earn it the next week or the week after that. So there needs to be a degree of flexibility when it comes to the money that you're earning from trade plate driving. Because I get paid by the hour, obviously that's helpful. I mean, anything could happen, a breakdown, traffic, train delays and so on. I will at least get paid for the amount of time that I'm out. The less work I do, the less money I earn. And here we are at the Grand Pier at Weston-super-Mare. Well, that's a shame. The Grand Pier is closed until 10 o'clock tomorrow, so unfortunately I can't head out onto the pier and show you the view of the ocean from out there. But let's have a little walk a bit further around Western seafront and see what we can find. So yes, I do this part-time, and that's one of the reasons why it suits me. I'm also a self-employed photographer. I do event photography, so that means parties, weddings, corporate events, music festivals, anything really, anything with people. I do documentary style event photography, so that I do have that other income as well. If I did this full time as my only job, it would be a financial struggle, but because I have the flexibility to use trade plate driving to top my income up, it works very well for me. Also, you need to have a degree of flexibility with your time. If you have kids at home, for example, and you want to get home and see them in the evening, might not always happen doing this. I'm quite happy to be out all day and to be driving very long hours. It's not a problem for me to do that. And I have to admit, I originally started doing this actually as just a second income. It was meant to be something that backs up my photography. I try to make time for it anyway. Even if I have a busy period with my photography, I try and do this at least 1 or 2 days a week, just because it gets me away from the computer. It gets me out and about. I enjoy doing it. On the flip side, of course, if I have a dry period with my photography and I don't have much work going on, I can just do this full time. So let's walk back to the van along Western seafront. I think it's time to head home now. If you're interested in becoming a trade plate driver, the first port of call, I suppose, is just to look online, all the usual job sites. I did a quick search myself out of interest, and I straight away found a number of trade plate jobs advertised. There are two important things to bear in mind if you are interested. The first is that a lot of places will want you to have off-street parking at home. The reason for that, of course, is a lot of vehicles in the motor trade with the trade plates in, they're not going to be taxed because they're going to be vehicles for sale or in between owners. So you can't really legally park them on the road overnight. And also just transport connections. If you live in a place with good transport connections and a railway station nearby, that's really going to help you. If you live in a remote little croft out in the sticks, there's going to be less work for you to do. If you can find work like I do, with exclusively working for one motor dealer, I would really recommend doing that. I've been very lucky because I work for TMC already in another capacity and they knew me already, so that of course helped me get my driving job that I've got now. But there's nothing stopping you going and introducing yourself to any local independent motor dealers, because they may want a local person who can reliably and safely drive vehicles across the country at short notice. They may ask you about your insurance and trade plate situation. Well, I mean, really, I think they should probably let you use their own trade plates if that's what they expect you to do. I mean, by all means, I suppose it is possible to arrange your own insurance and trade plates. I'm not going to go into that now. It's a very complicated and expensive process to explain now. But really, if you're not sure whether you're going to get the work, obviously that's probably not really worth your while. And look at this, this is really cool. You can park literally right out here on the beach. This section of the sand actually doubles as a car park. But anyway, here's the van we've just bought. It's a very nice 2021 or possibly early 2022 Ford Transit Connect. And it's only had one owner from new. I have literally just collected it from its one and only previous owner who lives here in Weston-super-Mare. This is a very nice, smart little van. 6-speed manual. Got heated seats, or one heated seat, driver's heated seat. It's a very nice, smart little van. There is some sand in it now because I've been getting in and out of it on the beach. Sorry guys. Yeah, I've had a very nice walk along the seafront here at Weston-super-Mare, and now I think it is time to head home. Well, hello again, it's the following day and you join me back at TMC. I took the van back home for the night and I've brought it back in the following day. It's Saturday today, so no more driving today. But I hope that you enjoyed the journey. I hope that I answered maybe some of the questions that you might have about trade plate driving, and at the same time gave you a small insight into just a typical day doing this rather unusual choice of job. Please do give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video. And I hope to see you again on another day, travelling to random places and seeing things around the UK.